I'm Mandy Gunasekara filling in for Gerard here today on SuperTalk Mississippi. And I'm going to go ahead and jump on in to our next guest. We have Mr. Mike Hainsey, who I can see. Hello, sir. How are you this morning?
Good, Mandy. How are you?
Quite well, quite well. Now, Mike Hainsey is currently the executive director at Golden Triangle Regional Airport. He is a retired Air Force pilot and a former assistant professor of aerospace science for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. He has been at the GTR Airport since 2003. He's the past president of Mississippi Airports Association, as well as the Mississippi Intermodal Council. He's also the past recipient of FAA Southern Region Commercial Service Airport Manager of the Year Award, Mississippi Airports Association Outstanding Airport Professional of the Year. Interestingly, he's also the former director of search and rescue for State of Mississippi Civil Air Patrol and the co-founder of Dreams on Wings, a charity that provides the thrill of flight for children battling serious illness. He was appointed to the board of directors for the Four-State Aerospace Alliance to help promote the aerospace industry in member states, and he is the chairman of American Association of Airport Executives Air Service Committee, which has the goal of improving air service to communities nationwide. He is a graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy and holds a master's degree in business from Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. That is a very impressive bio. Mike, thank you again for being here. Now, you have a very distinguished career. Happy Veterans Day. Did you do anything special to celebrate it?
Well, actually, we were in the middle of the Mississippi Airports Association conference, and they did a very good job of honoring our veterans, bringing in the anywhere from having the junior ROTC post the colors to, at the end of the day, we had a cake and a celebration. As you might imagine, there are a lot of veterans involved in aviation in Mississippi.
Yeah, certainly. There is a good segue for folks who learn to fly for military and then taking that expertise and applying it to civil aviation opportunities that we here in Mississippi get to reap the benefits of. Now, before getting into a little bit more of the Airports Association conference that you were a part of over the weekend, I was really interested in your Dreams on Wings charity. Could you tell us a little bit about what that was?
Well, we've been doing that, except for last year, for 18 years now. It's basically Make-A-Wish for flying. We take kids and their families that are facing serious illnesses. And those of us that were privileged to enjoy flying, we decided it was a chance to share it with them. And it really morphed into a huge day off for the families where we have...
I think his video froze.
Oh, okay. We're having some technical difficulties here just for a second. See if we can get that.
I'll see if I get him reconnected. I think his video froze, though. But
All right. Well, while Will is working to get Mike reconnected, he was talking about his Dream on Wings charity. I know that again, it's something that he has created to help families and kids dealing with very serious illnesses just to have a day of flight. It is a very noble cause and one that has continued to grow. It is a part of nonprofits here in Mississippi that are part of something called the Catch a Dream Foundation, which expands various opportunities for families and kids dealing with just some terrible illnesses. Now, as we're trying to get him back on, I've got the thumbs up from Will. We'll see if he comes back on in just a little bit. Oh, there he is. Okay.
I'm sorry, I dropped off. I got this huge error message in the middle. That.
Well, that's okay. That's live radio for you. So let's go ahead and jump into the Mississippi Airports Association conference. Can you give us just a quick recap of some of the high points and some of the folks who were a part of that this weekend?
Well, actually, it was great. It was down at the Golden Nugget on the coast. They've got some really nice facilities there. We had about 180 people. A lot of folks, when we focus on aviation, we think about the commercial aviation, and there are 7 commercial service airports in the state, but there are actually over 70 additional general aviation airports anywhere from Olive Branch to Pascagoula, Madison Airport in Jackson, and everything in between. So this is an opportunity for everyone to get together and figure out and share ideas on how to run our airports safely and run them better.
Well, in the regional airport system, it truly is a lifeblood of the local economy. And there's certain areas in Mississippi that are experiencing growth down on the coast, for example, and up in the Golden Regional Triangle area. Could you talk a little bit about the things you're doing in particular in the the GRT area? I'll just stick with that, that are really helping boost the local economy.
Well, here in the Golden Triangle, GTR, over the last, as you read, I started at GTR in 2003. And since then, there's been almost $6 billion worth of new industry in our area. And that doesn't happen unless you have connectivity to the global transportation network. Anywhere from, it started with what's now Airbus helicopters locating on the airport itself. We have Boeing now on the airport, Stark Aerospace, which is a part of Israel Aerospace. And around us, we have Steel Dynamics, which is a $2 billion very modern steel mill. PACCAR makes truck engines for Peterbilt and Kenworth trucks, Yokohama tires, and the list just keeps going on and on. And the neat thing about each one of these companies is once they started, they expanded. Every one of them has expanded at least twice, and most of them 3 or 4 times, because they like doing business in Mississippi.
Yeah, they like doing business in Mississippi, and we have this reliable regional airport network. Now, COVID changed a lot of how the airports and planes, the experience for passengers, how all of that operates. Could you talk a little bit of how the regional airports in particular dealt with that, and what folks who may be gearing up to travel for the holiday season, what they should be prepared for?
Well, of course, the bad news was March 15th, travel basically stopped. From airports our size, we were talking 15, 20 people a day traveling at most, because air travel in general just stopped. For the entire year, it was down 40%, but in the March, April, May timeframe, everyone, as we did in the entire economy, really just stopped. But starting, the holidays of last year, we saw it start to pick back up. But this year, especially starting in March, we are back to about 80-85% of the 2019 loads. Obviously, that's hundreds of percent greater than 2020. So we now are comparing to the 2019 era to see how close we are to back to quote normal. And so it's looking good, and actually the capacity that the airlines have put on for Thanksgiving, both nationwide and here in our state, is pretty good, and especially down in the Jackson area, where the addition of Southwest Airlines has really added a lot of travel opportunities for people in that area.
Well, now, do folks need to add in any additional time as they're going to the airport, getting ready to get on, and do they need to bring proof of vaccination or anything along those lines?
Well, the good news, if you're traveling domestically, then you do not need to have proof of vaccination at all. Of course, there is an executive order that in any of the airports, bus terminals, train terminals, or whatever, you have to wear masks. And of course, on all the airplanes, you have to wear masks. But as far as getting there early, that is definitely something you need to do. One of the issues that's affecting, airports and airlines, but also the entire economy, is a shortage of workers. So you will often see longer lines than normal, just because it's been hard to get workers to come back to work, especially for some of the airlines. But luckily, at the smaller airports like ours, we're running on time. The biggest thing people can do to make sure that they won't have any trouble starting their trip is getting there early or on time. Now, what that means in Mississippi is different from what that means in, say, Atlanta or New York or whatever. In Mississippi, it means if you're in Gulfport or Jackson, 2 hours is plenty of time, but I wouldn't cut it much shorter. If you're in the other four airports, including Golden Triangle, an hour prior is plenty of time. If you're standing in line an hour prior, so it'll be it's easier sometimes to fly out of the small airports like ours.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time, for coming on the show today, sharing the growth and role of regional airports throughout the state and helping folks prepare for upcoming travel.
Well,